Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let's be honest, nothing in Warzone quite feels as good as the Modern Warfare weapons do. Makes sense, the Cold War, the Vanguard weapons weren't built into the original game, so obviously the animations there feels not going to be as smooth as the MW ones. And even though a lot of the MW weapons might just be viable and not top tier, there are a handful of them that are actually very, very good right now. And today I wanted to break down the top 5 best MW guns in Warzone right now. If you enjoy the video as we go through them, let me know by dropping a like on it. Really does help grow the channel. And if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD, so feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. Also, you guys always see me wearing the Gamer Advantage glasses. I love these things. I'm wearing them all day, every day. From the moment I sit down in this office, I'm looking at screens all day, playing games, recording, editing, whatever it may be, and these things are game changers, reducing headaches, helping me sleep better at night. If you guys ever want to get a pair for yourself, Code Immortal has you covered with a nice little discount. The link for that will be down in the description below. So first up at number 5, I've got the ASVAL. Honestly, the only reason this thing is not higher is just because it's not as versatile as some of the other guns that we're going to be talking about on the list. This thing is almost exclusive to being used in solos, right? Just because it has that max capacity of 30 rounds, which obviously in Caldera with that increased health where pretty much all guns take an extra 2 to 4 shots to kill, that's just not enough to be able to compete in duos, in trios, and quads, or even on Rebirth when you're fighting, 1-on-2, 2-on-3. If you're ever at a disadvantage, 30 rounds can be really, really tricky to make do with. So it's definitely a higher skill gap weapon that's not going to make things super easy. So that is the big hurdle here, but that doesn't change the fact that this thing has an absolutely absurd TTK, and it's going to be an absolute beast in the vast majority of those close range gunfights where you're using it, especially in solos. It can and will dominate. So obviously we got the 30 round mags on there. We're also going for the OSA barrel. This is going to give you that better range and that better velocity. Super ideal and crucial there. I also like to run the tac laser on here, get a better ADS, also better aiming stability. 2 pretty solid pros. For the underbarrel, I like Merc on here. Commando is also a really good choice as well. Like both of those are going to be nice and ideal and help out with that control a little bit. Then lastly, you can sort of mess around. I feel like you don't need an optic for close range. I feel like with the Streetlock stock, you get some good control, so that's pretty solid. You could also use the Skeleton though for a better ADS and better aim walking move speed. You could also go the route of running something like a stipple grip tape for a better ADS or better sprint to fire, or even something like sleight of hand if you wanted to. Plenty of options for that 5th and final attachment, all of which are going to work just fine. Now at number 4, I've got the Kar98K, and again, the reason that this is on the lower end of the top 5 is just because of its versatility. This, unlike the VAL, is obviously more long range based, so you're going to be using this for those ranged engagements. While you could obviously quick scope and get some nice aggressive sniper kills with this thing, most players are going to look at this and use it for long range. Obviously the quick scopes, the aggressive sniping, that's not something that every single player can do. It is primarily that ranged weapon, and up close, it's not going to be able to compete with subs, with rifles, with shotguns, so on and so forth. But that's not to say the car is not incredibly good. Now, in Season 3, that could be changing, but as it stands right now, the thing is looking pretty solid. So first up, we are going for the monolithic suppressor alongside the 27.6-inch barrel. That's going to give us the best range, the best velocity, and also keep us off the map. We're going for tac laser here too, same reason as on the ASVAL, better ADS, better aiming stability. Also running the sniper scope on here, going to go ahead and throw on the cross thread reticle. Then lastly, I also go ahead and I run the focus perk just to help out with that flinch a little bit. Makes it a lot easier to stay on target if you're being shot, and you can get some nice kills because of that, as opposed to having your flinch skyrocket you whenever you're getting shot at in a fight. Now at number 3, I've got the MP5. Unfortunately, the close range meta is predominantly dominated by Vanguard subs, the Owen gun, the Well gun, the PPSH, etc., etc. A lot of these MW and Cold War guns have some decent TTKs up close like the MP5 does, but their mobility and their control get outmatched by the 10 attachments that Vanguard weapons have, which is a bit unfortunate. That said, the MP5 can still hold its own, and just looking at specifically MW weapons, it is still a top choice. You could use this thing for hip fire, and it is one of the most accurate guns in the game. You could use this thing for just a standard sub for close range, and it's going to be just fine there as well. It's going to be able to hold its own easily. Here, first up, we are going for the monolithic integral suppressor, 2-in-1 attachment here, keeping us off the radar, also helping out with some of that velocity. Alongside that, going for the Merc foregrip, better hip fire accuracy, which obviously is ideal here, and also some better control. You got to go for the 45 round mags here for sure. Even that's pushing it a little bit on Caldera with the increased health, so you got to keep that in mind. I also like to go ahead and run the collapsible stock, increase that movement speed, make it a little bit more aggressive. Then lastly, you can sort of mess around. If you want some hip fire, go for the 5 milliwatt laser. That's going to be ideal ideal for that. If you want some better sprint to fire, go for the stipple grip tape. If you want a faster reload, go for sleight of hand. All those 5th attachments there will work just fine on this build. You definitely have quite a few options with that. Now at number 2, we've got my all-time favorite weapon personally, the Grau 556. I'm sure if you played Verdansk back during the day, you remember just how dominant the Grau was at one point in time. This was the go-to meta weapon before it was nerfed, but even now, so many seasons later, this thing is still frying. It's a ton of fun to use, has the best iron sights in the game as well. Good recoil, good velocity, good damage over range. It's not like the best in any one given category, but it's very good in all of them, which makes it a nice, well-rounded overall weapon. Obviously, again, we're going for monolithic suppressor. We got to be going for the Archangel barrel here too. That's going to give it the best sights in the game. I love those optics. They're super clean. Also going for commando foregrip, helping out with that recoil some. The 50 or the 60 round mag here works just fine, totally down to preference. If you want that slightly faster ADS, go for the 50. If you want that extra 10 bullets, go for 60. It literally does not matter. Then lastly, I like the tac laser here yet again for that aiming stability. We're not going to run an optic here because we don't want to ruin those iron sights, and everything else like a stock, you could maybe get away with using something like the ADS movement speed, but that's not going to give you a ton compared to like the tac laser. Sleight of hand's always an option, maybe fully loaded, but to me, this is the most well-rounded Grau setup that I absolutely love. And of course, at number 1, we've got the CR56A Max. This thing is the powerhouse MW weapon. It actually has one of the best TTKs in the entire game with the 300 health update. It still fries in Rebirth with 250 health. Like, there is not a mode where this thing is not getting the job done. Now, whether you're playing on console or PC, to me, the setup changes with one specific attachment, but in general, it's going to be mostly the same. Monolithic suppressor, as always. Zodiac barrel, the longest barrel in this case, better range, better velocity, better control. Now, here's where things get interesting. If you're playing on console, you definitely want to go for commando foregrip just to help out that recoil a little bit, which obviously is a lot more noticeable on Xbox and on PlayStation. If you're on PC and you're not comfortable with the recoil, also go ahead and run the commando foregrip. But if you're on PC and you're really confident with your recoil, you could drop the commando foregrip and go for tac laser and make it a little bit more aggressive and get that better ADS, which to me makes it a little bit more fun to use, but it is a harder build in general. So just keep that in mind, depending on which console you're playing on and how confident you are with your aim. Also going for the 45 round mags here. Then lastly, the VOK 3x optic. And with that being said, we got the top 5 best MW weapons in the game right now, at least in my opinion. There's plenty of other ones that are close here for sure. The M4, the PKM, the Bruin, all really close as well. Like, you could definitely make an argument for those too. But that is going to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. So feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.